keeping both hands on the wheel, no quick swaps here. Hey everyone, this is Big Dan. I've had this Liberation truck sitting in my yard for months now, waiting for a day when I could dive into it. Well, that day has finally come. This isn't just any truck. It's a symbol of innovation and history. It was a milestone in the development of domestic vehicles, representing an entire era of engineering and ambition. Let's take a closer look. This truck is a classic, and its age shows. The stepboards, once sturdy and dependable, are now rusted and full of holes. Opening the doors, I can't help but admire the simplicity of the design. A steel dashboard with just a few gauges. Over on the passenger side, the seat has completely vanished, leaving only a hollow reminder of what once was. Inside, the story doesn't get any better. The interior is in complete disarray, a tragic sight for such an iconic piece of machinery. I climbed up to check out the cargo bed, and it's a similar tale there. Back then, cargo beds were built from wood, durable at first but prone to aging poorly. The wood here is cracked and fragile, with weeds and cobwebs taking over what once was a sturdy workhorse. From the outside, the truck's front grille has lost most of its rubber fittings, leaving bare metal exposed to the elements. Under the hood, it's clear this engine has seen decades of service and neglect. The fuel lines are snapped, and the wear is evident on every component. However, what's still there is impressive. An inline six-cylinder, water-cooled engine. It's not powerful by today's standards, but it was dependable and capable back in its heyday. Now comes the fun and challenging part. Restoration. The tires were completely flat when I started, with no air left after all these years. After pumping them back up, the wheels are holding air, but that's just the beginning. This old truck needs a lot of work before it can hit the road again. One of the key issues is the ignition system. The original spark plugs were corroded and useless, so I swapped them out for newer ones. It feels a bit ironic, a modern part in such a vintage machine, but they're exactly what this engine needs to spark back to life. After cleaning out the old components, checking for signs of electrical power, and testing various fixes, the engine finally started showing some signs of life. It's not running yet, but the progress feels rewarding. This truck is a survivor. Every piece tells a story, from the worn-out cargo bed to the faded paint and aging engine. Restoring it is like piecing together a puzzle of the past, one bolt and wire at a time. I can't wait to see it running again, carrying the weight of its history into a new chapter. Thanks for joining me on this journey. There's still a long way to go, but I'm excited to bring this beauty back to its former glory. Stay tuned for the next installment, where we'll take more steps to get this classic truck rolling once again. See you next time. Why isn't it starting? Turns out the grounding isn't stable. That's often the issue with classics like this. It's all about the little connections. So I rigged up a fix to stabilize the grounding, giving this vintage truck a proper spark to wake it up. Working on these older vehicles is like stepping back in time. They're full of quirks, but it's satisfying to solve the mysteries they hold. With a fresh set of spark plugs installed, the truck feels like it's ready to roar back to life. Because the original fuel system isn't functioning, I had to get creative. I rigged up an external fuel tank and primed the system manually, just like they did back in the day. After a few pumps, some fresh fuel, and a solid connection to the ground, the engine finally coughed to life. Hearing that sound was a moment of pure joy, a reminder of why I love restoring these old machines. Hey everyone, Big Dan here. If you've been following along, you'll know we've made big progress with this old beauty. The engine runs, but it's still got some rough edges. There's a loud rattling noise coming from inside, a small coolant leak, and the fuel system isn't as reliable as it should be. This is what makes a project like this so rewarding. It's not just about fixing the surface issues, it's about bringing the whole vehicle back to life. In the next phase, I'll aim to get it running smoothly and consistently. That means some more in-depth work under the hood. To do it right, I need a proper trench for repairs. These old-school engine setups require space and tools that most modern shops just don't have anymore. Once I got the truck positioned and started pulling the engine apart, it became clear just how tough this machine really is. Judging by the condition of the bolts and components, I'd bet this engine has never been fully disassembled. After draining the oil, I removed the pan and found the culprit behind the noise. A worn-out bearing on the second cylinder. It's so far gone that there's a huge gap causing the loud clanking sound. The crankshaft is slightly bent, and some bearings have fused together from decades of wear and tear. To make the repairs manageable, I removed the gearbox for better access. It's a massive job, but I can't help feeling excited. The person who sold me this truck probably thought I'd give up once I saw the scope of the work. But they underestimated how much I enjoy a challenge. Piece by piece, I've been taking apart this machine, marveling at the craftsmanship. Everything from the radiator to the steel gaskets is built to last. The radiator alone is a tank. It's no wonder these vehicles could withstand the toughest conditions. Even though some parts are worn beyond repair, there's still so much that's salvageable. The engine itself, though aged, has an undeniable spark of life left in it. It feels like it's eager to run again, as if it's saying, just give me a chance. Restoring it is a big job, but with some patience, a lot of elbow grease, and maybe a few late nights, I know I can get it back on the road. The hardest part of restoring vehicles like this is finding the parts. Every missing component is a small quest, and each discovery feels like a win. Despite the challenges, there's nothing quite like seeing an old vehicle rejuvenated, ready to roll out like it's fresh from the factory. Thanks for joining me on this journey. We've still got a lot of work ahead, but I'm determined to bring this classic back to its glory days. Stick around. It's going to be amazing to see this piece of history come alive again. When it comes to restoring a classic vehicle, every detail counts. That's why I'm thoroughly inspecting everything. The crankshaft, connecting rods, bearings, seals, and every single gasket on this truck. They all need replacing. Restoration isn't just about slapping on new paint, it's about giving the entire vehicle the care it needs to run safely and reliably again. Sure, dealing with shipping delays and high costs can be frustrating, but bringing this beauty back to life makes it all worthwhile. Hey everyone, Big Dan here. Great news! After all the waiting, the parts for our vintage Liberation truck have finally arrived. It's like Christmas morning for car enthusiasts. Let's unbox everything and see what treasures we've got. Inside the package, there's a mix of essentials. Window cranks, a steering wheel, a horn cover, oil seals, and bearings. Some parts look like they have seen better days, maybe even nibbled on by a mouse or two. But hey, that's the charm of working with vintage vehicles. There's also a stash of gaskets, which were particularly tough to track down. Today, we're rolling up our sleeves to tackle the engine, a task that's as rewarding as it is challenging. The first step is cleaning off years of grime and hardened grease. With a bit of gasoline and some elbow grease, I worked until the components shone like they were brand new. For an engine this old, every detail matters. Each bolt, seal, and gasket plays a crucial role, and it's our job to treat them with the care they deserve. Installing the crankshaft was a monumental job. It took an entire day just to get everything aligned and in place, but the results are worth it. Think about it. This truck was built during a time when resources were scarce, yet it was made to last. This crankshaft symbolizes the strength and resilience of its era. Once it was installed, I couldn't help but reflect on how far engineering has come and how important safety and precision are in a project like this. Next, I moved on to the connecting rods and pistons. These components needed a thorough cleaning, so I used gasoline to strip away all the grime. Slowly but surely, the engine started to come together. Piece by piece, it began to look like the powerful machine it once was. Seeing the transformation unfold is one of the most satisfying parts of this whole process. Now for the oil. I decided to treat this old engine to some high-quality, modern oil. It's almost poetic to think that this truck, built decades ago, is now running on premium 21st century oil. I used a lighter oil for summer use and plan to switch to a thicker one for colder weather. After filling it up, I carefully tightened every bolt, sealed everything properly, and secured the steel cover. Finally, after hours of meticulous work, the engine is fully reassembled. Standing back and looking at the finished product, I felt a wave of pride. This isn't just a mechanical project, it's a piece of history coming back to life. Knowing that this truck will soon be cruising down the road again fills me with excitement. Of course, there's still more work to do. Restoring a vintage vehicle is a marathon, not a sprint. But moments like this, when the engine is gleaming, the parts are in place, and everything looks as good as new, make all the hard work worth it. Thanks for following along on this journey. I can't wait to share more updates with you as we continue bringing this classic truck back to its former glory. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come. The engine rebuild is finally done. After adding fresh oil, tightening every last bolt, and connecting the steel wires, we've reached the end of this phase. It's time to reinstall the engine into the truck, a critical moment in any restoration project. If everything goes smoothly, it should fire up on the first try. The anticipation is building, and I can feel the excitement bubbling over. This is the culmination of countless hours of work, and I know many of you have been just as eager as I am to see this moment happen. As we kept assembling the truck piece by piece, it became clear just how far we've come. This isn't just a restoration, it's a revival of history. Standing back to admire the progress, I couldn't help but focus on the truck's iconic big nose design. It's a shape that carries a sense of rugged determination. And then came the moment of truth. We turned the key, and the engine roared to life. That sound, it's the same deep rumble that would have filled the air decades ago. It's familiar, nostalgic, and incredibly satisfying. With everything in place, I even reinstalled the horn for the finishing touch. Hearing it blare was like hearing a voice from the past, calling out that this truck was ready to hit the road. The engine purred smoothly, and every component worked just as it should. It was time to take this beauty out for a test run. Driving it for the first time was an experience like no other. With a truck this classic, it takes a few pumps of the gas pedal to get it going, but once it moves, you're transported back in time. The way it handles, the vibrations, the sound, it all reminds you of a different era. After all the effort and persistence, seeing the truck come back to life was nothing short of incredible. But the journey doesn't end here. There's still plenty of work ahead. Hi everyone, Big Dan here. If you've been following along, you know that the engine is fully restored and the truck is running again. But now, I'm facing a new challenge: the paint work. The old finish has taken a beating over the years, and figuring out the best way to restore it has been tough. Today, though, I had some help from a good friend, Tian Yan, who came by to share some advice. This truck is a piece of history, a second-generation Liberation model with a solid frame and surprisingly well-preserved body panels. While there are no major signs of damage, the original blue paint still peeks through in some areas. It's a testament to how well-built these trucks were. My plan is to strip off the weathered outer layer and apply a fresh coat of anti-corrosion paint. For the final color, I'm going with a classic choice: Liberation Green. This military-inspired shade is timeless and pays tribute to the truck's roots. The interior is another area where simplicity shines. The design is straightforward, and restoring it will be just as much about maintaining its authenticity as it is about making it functional again. My goal is to create a restoration that stays true to the original, a one-to-one recreation of what this truck was like in its prime. Tianyan emphasized how important it is to keep the restoration authentic, and his advice really hit home. This isn't just about fixing up an old vehicle, it's about preserving its legacy. The next step is disassembling the body and starting on the paintwork. A big project, but one I'm excited to take on. Seeing this classic truck transform into its former glory is going to be worth every bit of effort. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Stick around as we keep working to bring this liberation truck back to life. There's something truly special about restoring a piece of history, and I can't wait to share the next chapter with you. Stay tuned. It's going to be an incredible ride. It's that time again, heavy lifting and full-on disassembly. We're diving back into another familiar chapter of this restoration journey. This old liberation truck has seen its fair share of teardowns in my hands, and here we are doing it all over again. Why? Because when you're passionate about something, you go all in, no shortcuts. First, we move the truck to the perfect workspace, call it our magic spot for this job. The teardown started with the doors. Taking apart as much as possible is key to achieving a flawless paint job. In restoration, the more meticulous the disassembly, the better the final result. This round of dismantling was even more extensive than when we rebuilt the engine. Honestly, it's exhausting, but knowing the end goal keeps me going. If I had to pick a favorite part of this truck, it'd be the front grille. There's something so commanding about it, a bold design that speaks of rugged durability and timeless character. Stripping it down felt like peeling back layers of history. Using specialized tools, we cleaned off decades of rust and grime, revealing the beauty hidden beneath. Watching that transformation happen piece by piece is one of the most satisfying moments in restoration. Next came a critical step, stripping off the old paint. We used a chemical paint remover to break down the layers, and it was fascinating to see what lay beneath. The primer was red, then it was painted blue at some point, and finally its iconic liberation green. Once stripped, we were left with the raw, bare steel, a blank canvas ready for its next chapter. I still remember how this truck looked the day it came into my hands. It was rough, beaten up, and barely holding together, like an aging warrior carrying the weight of a hard-lived life. But over time, with persistence and care, it's come back to life. This project isn't just about restoring a vehicle, it's about preserving a story. Every bolt turned, every surface cleaned feels like a conversation with the past, a tribute to the people who lived, worked, and relied on these machines during an era of resilience and determination. Hi everyone, Big Dan here. So far, we've stripped the paint entirely from this classic liberation truck. It's a saying I live by. Slow and steady wins the race. And for a restoration of this scale, taking the time to get every detail right is crucial. Once we removed all the dust, sanded every surface smooth, and inspected each panel for flaws, we reached a major milestone, applying the anti-corrosion primer. This isn't just any primer. It's a top-tier, high-adhesion coating designed to bond tightly with the steel while providing excellent rust protection. It's the unsung hero of any great restoration, laying the foundation for the final paint layers. In this heat, applying it evenly and correctly is critical to ensure a flawless finish. As the primer settled, I stood back and admired the progress we've made. It's incredible how far this truck has come. Just weeks ago, it was a weathered relic, and now it's on the brink of becoming something extraordinary again. Each step we take gets us closer to that final reveal. Of course, there's still a lot of work ahead. The next phase is where the magic really happens, applying a stunning top coat that will make this truck shine like it's fresh off the production line. We're planning to bring back the classic Liberation Green, a color that perfectly captures its history and legacy. And there's more good news. During this process, we stumbled upon another incredible vehicle, a sibling to this Liberation truck. It's an exciting new project, and I can't wait to dive into it. Restoring these classic vehicles is about more than just mechanics. It's about honoring the history they represent. Thank you for following along on this. The sanding is done, the welding is complete, and every piece has been prepped to perfection. It's time to take this project to the next level. Stick around for the next phase, where this tractor will truly come back to life in all its original glory. Hi everyone, Big Dan here. Today we're diving deeper into the restoration of this iconic Dongfeng tractor. This isn't just any machine, it's a legend in the world of agriculture. Known for its powerful traction, excellent hill climbing capability, and impressive fuel and water efficiency, this tractor earned a reputation for reliability and innovation. It's no wonder it was celebrated far beyond its home, finding its way to international markets in countries like Russia, Ukraine, and Ghana. It stood tall as a symbol of craftsmanship and quality, representing the hard work and dedication of an era. At first, I toyed with the idea of giving this tractor a bold, modern makeover. Imagine a rainbow-inspired paint job, vivid yellows, greens, and blues blending into a colorful spectacle. But in the end, I realized this machine's classic red finish is part of its identity. It deserved to be restored with respect for its original design. So we decided on a bright red body, silver accents for the grille, and a striking yellow interior for the engine. Starting with the bodywork, we carefully applied the red paint, layer by layer, ensuring a smooth and glossy finish. The grille received a fresh coat of silver, bringing out its timeless, polished look. Inside the engine bay, every detail was painted a bold yellow, adding a vibrant pop of color that's both functional and visually stunning. Each component was cleaned, prepped, and painted with the utmost care, from the mudguards to the fuel tank and even the smallest bolts. Mudguards might seem like a small detail, but they're essential for protecting this workhorse during long hours in the field. This restoration process reminded me of the core skills every farmer should know, what we call the 5 essential skills in the agricultural world. To truly master a machine like this, you need to excel in plowing, maintaining fields, planting, towing, and performing regular upkeep. These aren't just tasks, they're an art form, and mastering them makes you a true agricultural expert. Of course, restoring this tractor wasn't just about aesthetics. It needed a deep, functional overhaul. We started by flushing out all the old oil and cleaning out the sludge that had built up over years of use. Regular water won't cut it for a machine like this, so we upgraded to high-quality antifreeze to ensure the engine stays protected under all conditions. Next, we moved to the tires, this tractor's shoes. We replaced the worn-out ones with brand-new heavy-duty tires that gave it a strong and refreshed stance. After that, we drained and replaced the gearbox oil, ensuring the tractor could handle heavy work with ease. Then came one of the most satisfying parts of the process, lettering the body. Using a precise hand and quality materials, we added the bold text that completed the tractor's transformation. The moment it all came together was unforgettable. To finish it off, we gave the entire machine a thorough wash, removing every last trace of dust and grime. Watching it shine under the sunlight was a moment of pure satisfaction. This isn't just a tractor, it's a piece of history, a testament to an era when craftsmanship and practicality were everything. Restoring it has been more than a project. It's been an honor. Thank you for following me on this incredible journey. There's still more to come as we continue fine-tuning this machine and preparing it for its next chapter. Whether it's out in the fields or showcased as a restored classic, this Dongfeng tractor is ready to shine. Stick around, because the best is yet to come. How's the progress looking so far? If you're enjoying this restoration, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. This stage feels like the moment when everything starts to come together, the final strokes on a masterpiece. Hi everyone, Big Dan here, and I couldn't be happier today because the custom-made wooden cargo bed I ordered has finally arrived. This project has been a labor of love, and I'm excited to share every step with you as we bring this classic vehicle back to life. Let me tell you, getting to this point hasn't been easy. I even tried pushing this big guy around myself earlier, just to reposition it for assembly. After a few attempts and a good laugh at my own effort, I decided to let the forklift do the heavy lifting. Restoring a vehicle like this requires more than just elbow grease. It takes collaboration and expertise. That's why I sought out a true craftsman for the cargo bed, an experienced carpenter who poured his heart into creating a replica that matches the original design down to the finest detail. The results speak for themselves. The new wooden cargo bed is stunning, a perfect one-to-one recreation of the original, crafted with care and precision. From the choice of high-quality wood to the seamless joints and sturdy construction, it's clear how much thought and effort went into its creation. The bed fits onto the truck's frame like a glove, blending modern craftsmanship with vintage charm. But the work didn't stop there. To ensure the durability and longevity of the wooden bed, I applied a premium anti-corrosion primer. This wasn't just any primer. It's designed to provide excellent water resistance, seal the wood, and protect it from wear and tear. Painting wood is no small task. It's trickier than metal and requires extra attention to achieve a smooth, even finish. After multiple coats and plenty of patience, I finally achieved the perfect look. The final color, a classic military-inspired green, a nod to the truck's heritage and original design. Seeing the green cargo bed perfectly matched with the body of the truck is incredibly satisfying. It's a cohesive, timeless look that pays tribute to the vehicle's history while giving it a fresh lease on life. This project has been attracting a lot of attention lately, and it's been heartwarming to see so many people interested in this restoration. Even at the local market, people have stopped me to ask how the truck is coming along. Some have even shared their own memories of these classic vehicles, which makes the work feel even more meaningful. Once the paint was finished and the bed was secured, it was time to tackle the final details. From carefully attaching each screw to aligning the connections between the truck bed and body, every step was handled with precision and care. Standing back to admire the finished product, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of accomplishment. This isn't just a truck, it's a piece of history restored with respect for its past and a vision for its future. Getting here hasn't been easy. Restoring a vehicle of this size and significance requires dedication, patience, and an unwavering commitment to the details. But every late night, every challenge, and every moment of hard work has been worth it. This truck is more than just a machine. It's a symbol of an era when craftsmanship and resilience defined progress. Thank you to everyone who's been following this journey with me. Your support and encouragement mean the world. Stay tuned for more updates as we fine-tune every detail and prepare this truck for its next chapter. And don't worry, there are plenty of exciting new projects coming your way. Together, we'll keep celebrating the legacy of these classic machines, one restoration at a time. Let's keep the wheels turning. This project feels like a small tribute to the spirit of our nation, a way to contribute even in a modest way. Just look at the craftsmanship on this truck. Every joint and connection fits seamlessly, like a puzzle coming together perfectly. Next, I'm moving on to install the headlights. If you're enjoying this journey, don't forget to give it a like and share your support. The wiring on this classic Liberation truck is surprisingly straightforward. As I worked on connecting the headlights and turn signals, I marveled at how simple yet functional the setup is. And now, the moment of truth, everything is hooked up. Let's test it out. There's something deeply satisfying about seeing these lights come to life, glowing brightly as if the truck itself is waking up from a long slumber. Every step of this restoration has been about doing the best I possibly can. Sure, there may be some imperfections, but I hope you'll appreciate the effort and care poured into every detail. Once the headlights, turn signals, and all the smaller components were in place, it felt like a major milestone. These parts are incredibly rare, nearly impossible to find nowadays. Restoring them to full working order is like bringing a piece of history back to life. Next on the list was installing the windshield wipers. These old wipers are another relic of the past, unique in design and full of character. After cleaning up the truck and giving it a good polish, it's amazing how much life it seems to have regained. As this restoration nears completion, my excitement continues to grow. The closer we get to the finish line, the more rewarding the process becomes. The progress is visible in every small detail, every light working perfectly, every component fitting just right. Even the smallest features like the right turn signal are tested and performing exactly as they should. Standing here now, looking at this liberation truck under the national flag, I can't help but feel a wave of emotion. This project is more than just restoring a machine. It's about preserving a piece of history, a symbol of resilience and ingenuity from a bygone era. This truck represents so much more than metal and mechanics. It's a reminder of the strength and determination of a generation. Seeing it in its restored glory makes me proud of the work we've done and the spirit it represents. A spirit of hope, hard work, and belief in something bigger than ourselves.